Hey guys, what's going on? I wanted to talk about the newest change to the Laboratory of Experiments. And just for context, if you wanted all the context, I did these 3 videos, and it was, the first one that I did was my favorite free-to-play addition to the game, and where I talked about how I thought that Laboratory of Experiments is the best free-to-play invention, one of the best things that they have added to the game for free-to-play people. This was back before the Crystal change. And it was the idea that you could just sacrifice any legendary that you obtained, for an actual legendary that you cared about. This was obviously back when you didn't need as many copies, and now in the current system, with the Crystal change, which is what I go through in this, second video, my theory on why, the Crystal change, again, if you want to watch any of these videos, you can, they're there, if you want me to go more in depth into the singular sentences that I'm going to give it, but this is, where I talked about the Crystal change and them going from, needing, I want to say 18 legendaries to now you need 73, copies of the same legendary. Before, I believe you needed 17 or 18, copies of the same legendary, and then you needed crystals, and then they took away the crystals, and then now you just need 73 copies. In that video, I started to talk about how I think that they have a new reason for changing it, and why they decided to do that. And my impression was that so that you could have just a surplus of legendaries, and then you could theoretically choose to upgrade the other legendaries that you just happen to have a surplus of. And I'll go into it, but I definitely have a surplus of a large quantity of legendaries, but I'm still going to play this game as if though that change never happened. And then the third video here is the secret change to Laboratory of Experiments, where I go into the idea that now, in the Laboratory of Experiments, you have the option to get more than just what you would get in a normal legendary. In Laboratory of Experiments, you have the ability to now get a lot of event units. This is why a lot of people are now saying that event units are essentially free to play. Not the best ones, and the best ones that they know are the best ones. You'll notice that Riding Hood, Genie, and Bard are very absent from this list. I do like that they changed all of the units that you've already maxed. They put it into a separate category. I think that that's a really cool way for you to like showcase what cards you've already maxed, as opposed to having to go the original way, which is going through here and then like just finding each individual card and being like, oh, a Blade Dancer and a Spirit Master. This is just an easy way to do all of that. I really like that as a neat little change. They did that. You know what? I'm going to talk about that really quick. The specific reason why units of maximum, you have the ability to choose units of maximum level, is the dumbest reason in the world. And I will praise Laboratory of Experiments, except for this one fact. And this fact you will probably never experience, but there are people at high level that are experiencing this fact. Let's say you only need Sea Dog as your legendary. Originally, you wouldn't be able, if you couldn't put in 4 cards into the Laboratory of Experiments, because originally you didn't have the ability to choose units of maximum level. So at a certain point, you couldn't choose, if you couldn't choose 5 legendaries to exchange, for some reason, or, you know, like if, let's say you had only 4 units to max out, because you couldn't choose, because they didn't give you the option to choose units that you already had maxed out, you simply couldn't use the Laboratory of Experiments, which is the dumbest reason. If you only have 4 left, you should be able to just roll for the 4. Nothing changes. When you use Laboratory of Experiments, nothing changes. Like, you don't get a higher percentage for 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. that doesn't change. It's just a simple change, or it's just a simple chance of getting something at all. It's not like you have a 10% chance of getting your first slot and a 20% chance of getting your second slot and a 30% chance of getting your third slot. Like, it's just a singular chance to get anything at all. So I don't know why they wouldn't just change it to where if you have 4 legendaries left to max out, just let people use it. But that is the specific reason why they now chose to change it to where you can choose units of maximum level. So then high level players, let's say they only need 1 thing left, they now have to pick their 1 thing and then 4 units that they've already maxed out. And that's their fix on, oh, now you can use it. And I think it's the dumbest fix. It's like, just if you get to that point where you only have 1 unit left, if you only have 4 units left, just let people just get those units. Like, it's an insane change for endgame players. But anyway, in that video where I talked about why I think that they changed the crystals, and why I think they did all of this, is the simple idea that in every season, you are now getting a surplus of legendaries. I'm in division, the highest division. I'm in division 7. Each season, I am potentially getting, each season, do I not even have the ability to, like, click on it? I can't click on the thing anymore. I guess, here we go. Each season, I'm potentially getting 14 legendaries. We are now in our second season. The second season obviously just started. I just got Contender. I just got an additional 4 legendaries. I've been saving a large quantity of Laboratory of Experiment tokens, because they also changed. This is the newest change to Laboratory of Experiments. So not only can you choose event units, but they've now changed the percentages. So originally, back before the crystal change, I believe it was a 15% chance from 1 through 6. So if you kept failing every single time, you would have to do 6 experiments, and on your 6th experiment, you would get a legendary. They have now changed it. They've now done 2 things to change it. One, the percentages are now changed. So at 1, your first experiment is a 10%, and then it's a 20%, and then it's a 30%, and then it's a 40%, and then on your 5th one, that's when you get a guarantee. So they've lowered, at the very least, they've lowered the bells, or I'm sorry, they've lowered the amount of experiments that you have to take, which is good, just in general. But then they've now also changed the percentages, theoretically. I've always looked at percentages as being invisible percentages. Look at my... this video ends when I get a Shinobi video. Shinobi has a 15% chance of spawning in. I believe that video goes on for 11 minutes before I get my first Shinobi. It was absolute insanity. And that is, that's a percentage. I was just very unlucky. I think that percentages are kind of a construct. It's just supposed to make you feel better about something. I know that even when I'm playing Spirit Master and I have a cleanse, a 50% chance to cleanse, sometimes I'm using it 4 times and I'm still not getting a cleanse. It just happens. But the fact that they lowered it to 5 experiments and that on your 5th one you get a thing, I think that that's good. In terms of how many legendaries you're getting per season, let's just go through this really quick. I'm going to omit the cards that I'm trying to keep, and I will just name everything that I don't care about that I've obtained over the course of 2 season pass seasons. 5 Minotaurs, a Bruiser, a Clock, 2 Demon Hunters, a Scrapper, an Inquisitor, a Cultist, 2 Meteors, 2 Shamans, a Stasis, 2 Demonologists, a Dryad, a Corsair, a Hex, 4 Boreases, 4 Frosts. I've obtained that over the course of the last 2 seasons because I've basically been saving my Laboratory of Experiment coins specifically for this update. And now I'm just going to go through it. So I thought that this would be a cool way to do like a quote unquote unboxing thing, and because there's a large quantity of things that I just don't care about. This Dryad I already have maxed out, so I'm obviously going to get rid of that first. And then you're going to see how these percentages work. So that fails, so now I should have a 20% chance. That also fails. And now I should have a 30% chance. That fails. I should have a 40% chance. That fails. And obviously this is going to be a guarantee. Yeah, you're going to burn through a large quantity of experiment coins. Scrapper I already have maxed out. That's a 10% chance. This is a 20% chance. This is a 30% chance. 40% chance. And 50%, or 100. That's, yeah. I don't know how other people are getting so lucky, but this is basically what's been happening with me. And again, it's all luck. It's all based on numbers, theoretically. I know Rush Royale Tips and Tricks is incredibly lucky. He says that he's never gone beyond three tries, and I've now had to do max try twice. Are we going for a third one? Oh, there we go. Okay, there's one. Yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of all these frosts. There we go. That's pretty cool. That's something. %, 30%, 40%, 100%. This is insane. I am running through so many of these experiment coins, and I've been saving for so long. I'm gonna switch to this Boreas, because I don't care. Nope. So yeah, that has the ability to happen, and I still have all of these legendaries. If you go through my why I think they did the crystal change video, this is basically what I was talking about. You're gonna obtain so many more legendaries than you have experiment coins, and you're gonna fail so often that theoretically you're just gonna upgrade cards just because. You're just gonna get so many of something that you just want to upgrade it because you have it. I'm still going to theoretically play the game as if though the change never happened. So I am going to obviously, if it happens, like if I have an upgrade on something like a Corsair, I'll upgrade it because I'm obtaining so many legendaries, but I am still going to very actively use the Laboratory of Experiments because it is the best way to max out a deck. It's the best way to get cards that you need. I think that it's still a very useful aspect of this game. I think it's incredibly useful for free-to-play players, but as well as people who pay as well. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the new system. I think that percentages are an invisible construct to make you feel better, and they still obviously do not make me feel better. I just had to spend, 500 experiment coins for 4 or 5 legendaries. I guess that's fine because they weren't going to do anything anyway, and I'd rather have the other copies. But with how many copies you currently need to max out a legendary, this is still going to take you forever. Not that you were ever... And you know, I'm going to end on this, now that I've said that. A lot of people like to complain about the crystal change and how you need so many legendaries now. And I would say to those people who are like, oh, I used to like upgrade cards before and it was so much easier before. That might be true, But if that were as true as you think it is, you would have more legendaries. You would have more max legendaries. It wasn't like you were upgrading legendaries like every day. And the fact that people think that the new change just means that you'll never max out a legendary is completely false. It was just as hard to do it before because you were not getting this amount of legendaries per season. You were not getting 14 legendaries per season. You were getting at max when you beat when you got to contender, you were getting at max 3 legendaries, and now you're getting 14. Obviously because you need more legendaries, but I'm just saying, like, at the rate of 3 legendaries, if they were Corsair, that was just 3, and you needed 9 crystals to upgrade any card from 13, 14, or 15. And so people who think that with the new change, it's so much worse and I'm just never going to upgrade my cards, I would argue that you weren't upgrading your cards before anyway, or else you'd have all of your cards maxed out if it was so easy before. But yeah, I really like this change, even though I just failed like a large quantity of times. I think that it's better. I think that having the one less, only having to do 5 experiments instead of 6 is a change. And that's almost good enough for me. I'll catch you guys next video.